Yo guys, so as you probably already know, a lot of Western men are now looking for girlfriends or even wife material abroad, in the East or in Asia for instance. And it is true that you increase your chances of meeting traditional women in non-Western countries. I went for an Asian woman myself, but it is still not all roses there either, okay? It's not because you are fed up with the West that you should idealize non-Western countries. Most women should still be avoided there as well. So let's listen to what is going on in China, the other, superpower, and how women, or some, should I say, women behave there.
If I were a gold digger, I definitely wouldn't ask you for money right away. Instead, I would present myself as a hard-working person, making you feel at ease while raising my own status. I would get close to you, pretend to be interested, and give you some sweet hints, but never take the final step. When you couldn't help but confess your feelings, I would tearfully tell you that I've been hurt before and need a lot of love to feel secure. When you feel pity for me, you will have fallen into my trap. I would hint that I value ceremony, mentioning what
I would. No, she wouldn't. She will. No, she knows the game. She is a gold digger. She knows how to manipulate men.
what other suitors have given me. When you, influenced by my hints, invest more and become more entangled, I would become distant. To seek my enthusiasm, you would have to spend even more money. However,
To seek enthusiasm, you have to spend money. I would say at least get laid, if you want to spend money, at least get the girl, get there in bed, Don't spend money just to get their attention.
see your ceiling and have drained you sufficiently, I would kick you aside and look for the next target.
She knows the game. She knows how to get you.
首先，第一种最常
I mean, your money. You won't get her.
见，也是最低级的捞女。
There are several types of gold diggers. If you have a better condition, you might have encountered these types. The first type is the most common and basic gold digger. They will ask you for money in various situations, asking for money when going out, asking for money on dates, or even during a birthday party at home. The lowest level gold diggers might even ask you to order takeout for them. The second type of gold digger is more sophisticated. They will use a method of being intermittently warm and cold to make you think they have feelings for you, but they are not particularly invested. They might act cold when you are enthusiastic and become warm when you are indifferent. They may give you some hints, such as leaning closer during your time together, creating an illusion that they like you. Even if you confess your feelings and are rejected, they will still accept your gifts. The third type of gold digger is even more advanced. They treat you exceptionally well, making you willing to spend money and provide emotional value, leading you to become emotionally invested. They use their beauty and sincere behavior to guide you, making you feel they are deeply invested.
You see, guys, even China, a non-Western country, a more traditional country, let's say, has a lot of women pleasers, a lot of simps. Okay, you have to be a simp to pay, without even have her as a girlfriend, If you were married and you were just a provider, and you were helping there, having your, playing your man's role, I would somehow agree, because there is a fine line, between being a provider and being a simp. But if you're just paying for somebody's attention or to get somebody, no, you're a sucker. You're a women pleaser, okay? So even in China, in traditional countries, there are men like that, It's not because we are not in the West, not that all men are, not sims or strong or something, It's not always the case. Some are, some not.
However, in reality, they rarely make substantial contributions and might continually change your thoughts and perceptions. They might use their past romantic experiences to gain sympathy, such as saying, "All my serious relationships ended because the guys didn't cherish me." But the actual reason for the breakup was that her ex found out she was trying to extract money from him. The most high-level gold digger skillfully guides you to believe she is fully considering your needs. Her true intention is to exchange emotional value and appearance for material gains. You might end up suffering because you are unclear about what you truly need. You may think you need just emotional value, but in reality, you need loyalty and dedication.
Yeah, men need loyalty, okay? A loyal woman, that's what you need.
Gold diggers are unlikely to provide that.
Of course, she's after the money only, you know? She wants materialistic stuff only. She doesn't give a shit about you. And you will feel it, okay? Even though you are let's say, a simp, a sucker, deep inside you can feel it, you know? She doesn't really like you, okay? You're just lying to yourself.
大家来帮我分析一下啊，这个女的是不是个捞女？
Everyone, please help analyze if this woman is a gold digger. Just now, my friend left a message on WeChat asking me to help analyze whether this woman has any problems and if she is normal or not. He has been with the woman for a year and a half. He said he has transferred a total of about 90,000 yuan to her, and including the money spent on her, it totals around over 100,000 yuan. When they talked about getting married, they initially agreed on a bride price of 88,000 yuan, but now it has increased to 108,000 yuan. The woman said, if you want us to...
So that's roughly 13,000 bahts, which is a lot in China.
Get married in 2024, the bride price should be 108,000 yuan. You need to buy a car worth no less than 300,000 yuan.
You need to buy a car. If you want to marry me, if you want me to be your wife, you need to buy a car. What's that? Okay? So I understand, you know, a family needs a car, but she wants the car, okay? It's not the family's car, it's her car, for her. So that's it's a $40,000 car.
The house must be bought by the man in full, and the woman's name must be added to the title. Additionally, when both parents and relatives meet, each red envelope given to these relatives should not be less than 2,000 yuan. Then, a separate red envelope with an auspicious amount of 10,001 yuan should be given to the woman. During the engagement, another 10,001 yuan red envelope should be given. The 3 gold items for the wedding should not be less than 30,000 yuan. She said that if he can meet all these requirements, they will get married in 2024. If not...
This is not a relationship, this is not love, this is business, okay? Pure business.
They should break up and not waste each other's time. I think this woman's in...
Wild. Imagine your wife saying, if you don't give me this, and the minimum amount should be this, if the price of the item is lower than this, we're gonna break up. How do you think about that? Tell me in the comment below.
Intentions are not pure. I don't know what you all think about this, and you can also give him some advice on whether he should continue with this woman or give up.
No, give up, of course.
Anyway, my suggestion is to give up, as I think this woman's intentions are not pure.
不要再说我们女孩子物质了。
Don't always say that we girls are materialistic. You might not distinguish between Laro Nu and normal girls. For example, if a guy spends a lot of money on gifts for a girl, and the girl says to him, "We're just friends, you're a nice person," a normal girl would decisively and clearly refuse if she doesn't like you. Even a small gift would not be accepted if she knows you are pursuing her. If you give her both big and small gifts, and she accepts them but still doesn't accept you as a person, you need to consider whether the problem is with your own judgment.
Of course. It's called a pussy beggar. I don't understand these guys, okay? At least if you spend some money on a woman, get laid, guys, you know? At least for one night, you know what I mean? She uses you, okay, use her. Okay? You know she's using you, so you can use her, okay? It's a dirty game, but it is the game. But if you are looking for love, for wife material, you want to build a family, and for genuine feelings, of course you should avoid this kind of women. Of course. You shouldn't beg for her. No, the relationship should be natural, you know, it should be, there should be a kind of flow between you and her, you know. It shouldn't be about money, about transactions. if you don't do this, I'm not gonna do this. If you do this, I'm gonna give you that. No, that's not how it works.
Is it possible that the person you're pursuing has issues? In fact, whether a boy or a girl likes each other isn't necessarily determined by money. For instance, if I'm having a great and enjoyable time with someone, I will like that feeling of interaction rather than measuring it with money.
Exactly.
So, if the other person purely lets you spend money without any boundaries, I think it's better to give up early.
Of course.
Such a person is not worth it.
For real.
我追一个女生已经在她身上花了20万了。
One of my friends has spent 200,000 yuan pursuing a girl. The girl told him that if he buys her a 500,000 yuan car, she will agree to be with him.
Jeez, that's wild. Just be with her, you know? If you buy her a car. Wow. And some men agree, you know? Some men agree. Can't believe that.
My friend has been pursuing her for a month, and during this time, he has taken her out to dinners costing over 1,000 yuan per person and given her gifts worth 5 figures. A few days ago, he transferred 52,000 yuan to her and confessed his feelings. When I asked him why he was so generous to this girl, he said it was because the girl had mentioned that when...
Sorry for that guy, but it's his own fault, you know? He started this game. Okay, he is asking for her with money. Never do that, even though you're rich. Okay, even though you're rich, meet her broke. Okay, if you have money, don't show it. Show it later on, gradually, you know. Don't use your money to seduce people. Otherwise, they get used to that and they think it's a part of you. And later in life, if you make a mistake or if you become broke, first she will leave you, and she will never be with you only for who you are. Of course, the man should be a provider. As I was saying, there is a fine line between being a provider, a protector, and being a sucker. Okay, more on this later on. But if you if you need to pay somebody to get attention, of course it's you're a sucker. Sorry.
Others initially pursued her. Someone had bought her a 500,000 yuan car, but she still didn't agree to be with him because she didn't like him. My friend thought he should show more sincerity and not be worse than other suitors.
Couldn't he figure out in the first place she didn't like him before buying the car?
So he was willing to invest so much. After listening to this, I realized that this is actually a tactic used by gold diggers.
Of course.
They raise their value
Obvious.
and show that they are not materialistic, but when you invest a lot of time and money and are about to achieve your goal, they will delay because they fear you won't cherish them. They use this method to make you prove your genuine interest. Many men who have invested heavily might feel that they truly love the girl and are willing to continue investing. These gold diggers take advantage of the gambler's psychology, making you
Sure.
reluctant to give up. In the end, I want to tell you that such girls often continue to make new demands. Once you agree to their requests, you will immediately become the provider. They might fulfill their promise but then find excuses to delay, keeping you in a pseudo-romantic relationship while you continue to be the provider. Ultimately, you will either be used as a tool or be ruthlessly abandoned after your value has been drained. Remember, attracting a girl relies on other qualities, not on impressing her with money.
I was really surprised to find out that there are actually gold digger training classes in Shanghai nowadays. These training classes mainly teach young girls how to extract money from wealthy men. The tuition for these classes is very expensive. It is said to be 50,000 yuan per hour.
50,000 yuan per hour, so that's roughly almost $7,000 USD per hour. So here we get the scammers being scammed, you know? The scammers are getting scammed. Why not? It's all they deserve.
The girls attending these classes are usually between the ages of 20 to 28. Their targets are entrepreneurs, company executives, second-generation rich kids, or elite men from some trending industries.
Successful
Whether
men.
you are single or not, you are all their targets. Recently, a netizen mentioned an
Yeah, you know, most women, they don't care whether you're single or not. You know, you could be married, single, have kids. It doesn't matter. Okay, if you are rich and she's a gold digger, she will give it a go. Anyway, maybe you will agree. Maybe you will cheat on your wife for a while and spend the money on her. Why not? Her goal isn't you. Her goal is money. Is to get richer and to use you in her business.
Incident. A very wealthy man said that he had been dating his girlfriend for 6 months. During these 6 months, the girl gradually asked him for cash transfers and expensive gifts totaling 2 million yuan. After 6 months, the girl asked to get married. At this point, the man felt that they had not been together long enough to get married immediately, and the economic situations of their families were vastly different. It was not a suitable match. The man's parents also disagreed with them getting married so soon. Seeing that marrying into a wealthy family was hopeless, the girl proposed breaking up, and she refused to return the cash transfers and gifts she had received. At this point, the man realized that he had been deceived.
You know, guys, rich, wealthy doesn't always mean smart, okay? I mean, this was obvious, you know, from day one. But this man didn't realize she was using him, even though he was rich. So I would assume, you know, a rich guy, a wealthy guy, is somehow smart, you know. He has some brains, you know. He knows how to make money. He has had some kind of success, so it means he's not stupid. He's not dumb, you know. But some are, it turns out, you know, because this was very easy to figure out from day one. She was using him. I think so. Tell me in the comment below what you guys think.
Later, the man used some connections to find out that the girl was simultaneously dating several men and even used the same phrases. He then realized that this girl had attended a gold digger training class. He later recovered part of the money through legal means.
I have seen an extremely straightforward gold digger who made no effort to hide her intentions. A few years ago, a young girl used her connections to follow a boss into one of our high-level gatherings.
Smart.
These gatherings are held several times a year, initiated by the most powerful bosses in the circle, and very few outsiders can participate. Upon hearing about the gathering, this girl begged one of the bosses to bring her to learn. When introducing herself, she claimed to be the business director of a certain company. Whether it was her keen sense or some other reason, during the meal, she quickly identified the most powerful boss present and ran over to toast him with her glass of wine. To everyone's surprise, she directly sat on the boss's lap.
Reckless girl. Ready to risk everything to get that man. I mean, that money. Through the man.
After being pushed away, she tried to sit again but was scolded by the boss, and she dejectedly returned to her table.
But how do these men, you know, allow a girl like that, you know, in an important gathering like this, you know? A gathering between men is a gathering between men. Why did they accept her there? Don't get it.
That night, back at the hotel, she used the excuse of borrowing a power bank to knock on my door, saying she wanted to learn more about our industry. I obviously understood her intentions, so I immediately refused her through the door. Later, I learned that she went door to door knocking on several bosses' doors that night and added several bosses' contacts. The next day, she insisted on writing back with the second most powerful boss in the circle but was also refused. Do you know what happened next? After returning, this girl continuously visited those bosses from the gathering. I heard that she got a BMW from one of the bosses and received some money from two smaller bosses.
Jeez.
Totaling hundreds of thousands of yuan in cash. Just this trip alone, she probably harvested over 1 million yuan. Those bosses who gave her benefits were later ridiculed by us.
Of course.
In fact, such things are not uncommon in our circle, but wasn't her behavior a bit too blatant?
Of course it was.
Identifying a gold digger is actually quite simple. You just need to look at how often she mentions money. Think about it. When you like someone, don't you want to show your best side? If If she constantly says things like, oh, I owe for water, I owe for electricity, I owe for service fees, I have to pay rent tomorrow, work isn't going well, I haven't made any money recently, I can't afford to eat, regardless of whether she directly asks you for money, if she keeps talking about her poor living conditions, she is likely a gold digger. There are also some women you can identify as gold diggers without even meeting them. If she immediately starts asking about your car, house, job, income, and so on, in 99% of cases, she is testing how much money you have.
It happened to me as well, that, especially in Russia, when I was living in Moscow, I met a few girls, and I met a lot of girls, but a few of them bluntly, bluntly asked me how much I make, how much, what car I do drive, and where I live. In Moscow, depending on where you live, people tend to decide whether you're rich or not, well off or not. And some girls, didn't want to talk to me because I was too poor for them. I didn't drive the right car, I didn't make enough, or they didn't live in the right place. In Moscow, if you're not living in some areas, you are considered, not rich enough, which is stupid. Doesn't make sense. You can make good money, but live, in a more remote place because the air is fresher, you have got less traffic jams and so on. But that's not how they think. But still, abroad you will meet a lot of women like that. They will ask you what car you drive. They sometimes ask you, how much you make, but it is too blatant, let's say. But they will ask you where you live and what car you drive. They are more interested in your materialistic stuff than in who you are, your personality, and so on.
At this point, you mustn't save face, because in the end, you'll likely end up with nothing. Another type of gold digger is one...
Yeah, of course. Her goal is to suck you dry. She is in business, okay? She wants to take the money from you. And once she understands she has hit, the bottom, there isn't any money to take anymore, she will leave. So I'm not saying all Asian women are like that. I'm not saying, there are good Chinese women, of course. There are a lot of good Chinese women, I'm sure. I've been to China, multiple times. I've had good times there. I even, dated Chinese women, Taiwanese women, other Asian women. But still, most women there should be avoided as well, A lot of gold diggers over there, that's for sure.
One who constantly comments on how nice a bag looks, how good a piece of clothing is, or how great a watch is. I want to tell you that if a girl genuinely wants to date you, she would be too shy to ask for anything directly. But why do so many people still get tricked? Because what I'm most worried...
Because some men are desperate and they think, their money can buy love, can buy a woman. Woman can buy you a prostitute, can buy you a hooker, it can buy you a one night stand or a multiple nights stand, a gold digger. But love or genuine interest is not something you can buy, okay? So I'm not saying you shouldn't have money. As I was saying, there is a fine line between being a provider who provides for his family, his wife, is here, to provide security, stability, a good father, a good leader, a good family leader. And being a sucker who pays, just to get attention, just to have this woman in his life. Okay, there is a fine line between the two. It takes some experience, to understand where this line is. So I'm not saying you shouldn't pay for some things, if you are a man. If you are a man, especially if you want a woman with traditional values, you will be a provider, but not a sucker, Be a provider, but not a sucker. Tell me in the comment below what you guys think.
Worried about is that you think she is an exception. Finally, let me tell you how a gold digger usually responds when you confess your feelings. A gold digger might say, I think we're moving too fast. I want to get to know you better, see what kind of person you are. I believe relationships should develop naturally and take their time. When the time is right, we'll naturally be together. If you think you've heard this response before, congratulations, you're just a fish in her pond, she's fishing for you.
Yeah, long story short, don't use your money, if you have money, to seduce people, okay? Of course, it will help you later on. You know, if you are in a relationship with her and you are the provider, you want to be, you know, the family leader. It's always good to have money, but if you use your money to seduce people, of course, it will backfire at some point. Okay, it shouldn't be only about the money. It should be about you as well, about your personality, about who you are. And it doesn't mean you shouldn't be a provider and shouldn't, you know, help your family. That's what I'm saying. But it shouldn't be only about the money. Anyway, tell me in the comment below what you guys think. Don't forget to subscribe if you haven't yet. Smash that like button. And check the links below in the description under this video. I'm gonna make more content like this. And yeah. Leave your comment. Tell me what you guys think about the Asian gold diggers. And talk to you soon. Have a good one.